Good day, everyone. I'm Jim Gonia, Bishop of the Rocky Mountain Synod of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, and I am delighted to be your keynote speaker at this 9th annual Odyssey CHUM Un-Luncheon this year. I want to begin by offering my congratulations to Peter and Allison Sawtill for their amazing work in restoring creation, and what a well-deserved honor. I was asked to speak today about the theme of resiliency. Resiliency. If there's anything we all need in great abundance during these times of pandemic and social division and racial reckoning, if there's anything we need as people of faith, it is a rich measure of resiliency. I don't know a better foundation for resiliency than to continue to reground ourselves as individuals and communities in the one in whom we live and move and have our very being, in the source of all that is and the end of all that will be, the one that I call God. I have learned during this time that spiritual practice is one of those ways to ground myself and to root myself in resiliency. I've been practicing over these last weeks and months meditation, contemplative meditation on the fruits of the Spirit that was birthed during a sabbatical that I was granted in the summer of 2019. And today I'd like to share that meditation with you, not to say that this is the practice that you must adopt in order to ground yourself in resiliency, but as a model or as an example of the kind of spiritual practice that allows us to be the strongest, most courageous, most faithful, most resilient people and leaders that we can be during times of change and disorientation. If you're familiar with the fruits of the Spirit, you know they are 9 in number. You find these in the 5th chapter of Galatians in the New Testament. The 9 fruits of the Spirit listed there are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. As I meditated on these 9 attributes or gifts or fruits of the Spirit, and as I looked at them through the lens of a wannabe growing contemplative, here's what I received, gestures and all. It begins with love. Love. What this says to me is that from our very first breath to our very final breath, during every breath of our life, God's word for us is love. I love you. I love you. I love you. And when that love is breathed into us from the beginning to the end of our life, all the time, every day, every breath, we then have the capacity to exhale or share or breathe out that love for the sake of others, for the sake of the world. Love. Then there is joy. Joy. Joy for me points me out of my head and my calculating mind to the eyes of my heart to look up and see and smile at the gifts that God offers to me every single day, right there in front of me, if only I'm willing to look with the eyes of my heart. Joy. Peace. Peace. The peace that passes all understanding is an embodied reality. From our head to our core, down to the tips of our toes, the peace that passes all understanding lives within us. because the God in whom we live and move and have our being lives and breathes and has being within us. And so when we are fully in our bodies, that peace that passes all understanding can be accessed. Love, joy, peace. From there, patience. Patience, the willingness to receive whatever is in front of me. Not trying to resist it or push it away or force it out, but to receive whatever is before me, and more importantly, to learn the lessons that whatever is before me would teach me about life. Patience, not rushing to the next thing, not trying to get out of the difficult or painful situations, but receiving what it is that such a situation can teach me. Patience. Kindness. Kindness. Kindness begins by seeing with the eyes of Christ and then offering blessing or benediction to whatever is before me, whether it's a situation or whether it's people. Kindness is about seeing with the eyes of Christ and offering compassion and benediction on those things that are before me, and particularly when those things that are before me are difficult or hard or painful or annoying. What more important gift or fruit can I access at that time than kindness? Then there is generosity. Generosity requires stepping in, offering the fullness of who I am, my entire self, to the situation to show up fully. And sometimes that generosity of showing up with my full self means I'm there to listen. Sometimes it means I'm there to speak. Sometimes it means I'm there to act. But however it is that I'm going to show up, I do it with my full self. There's nothing more generous about life than giving my whole self to the person or the situation in front of me. Patience, kindness, generosity. From there, we'll start with generosity. There is faithfulness. Faithfulness. For me, it means that whatever situation I'm in, whether I label that situation as the best possible thing in life or the worst possible thing in life, faithfulness means that I hold it close to my heart and that I trust that God is present and active in whatever I experience, good, bad, or otherwise. Faithfulness is to trust that God is active and present and at work and will bring forth redemption, hope, possibility, new life. Faithfulness. Then there is gentleness. And you can't see it, but gentleness is pushing on that heart space. Gentleness begins with each one of us. My gentleness begins with me, being gentle with myself, being kind to myself, giving myself the compassion I need, because when I'm out there in the world and when I experience things, good, bad, or otherwise, and I pray that God is active in those things, sometimes there's a lot of vulnerability and I need to be gentle with myself. I may not have done things right. I may not have said the right thing. I may not have listened well enough. Gentleness allows me to offer compassion to myself, to be the broken and blessed human being that I am. Gentleness. And finally, self-control. Self-control. That may seem at odds with your image of self-control. Self-control may seem more like we should be like this, girding our loins, control. But self-control from a contemplative perspective, at least for me, has everything to do with freedom, with letting go of all of those narratives that would tell me who I am, but aren't the truth. Narratives that would control who I am, but are not the truth, certainly not the fullness of the truth. Self-control is about letting the self that is true be in control, the self that God has made me to be, broken and blessed at once, to let my authentic self be in control, to have the reins of the narrative, and to live from the truth of that self's narrative. Faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. So let's put them together. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. When I practice this meditation, what I find so remarkable is because it is a somewhat embodied meditation, my body will stop at that very gift I need to learn from most in the moment. It may be patience, it may be kindness, it may be faithfulness, but my body knows better than my mind, or maybe even than my heart, what I need in any given moment. And so my body teaches me how to focus on the fruit that is most urgent for the sake of my life, for the sake of my resiliency. I have practiced this meditation often during these days, and it has helped me be more resilient during these difficult times. My hope and prayer for you as individuals, but also for us as communities, is that we may dig deep into those practices, those gifts and fruits that are automatically a part of our life, to rely on them and to use them for the sake of being the courageous, faithful, and resilient people and leaders that God needs us to be, that the Spirit needs us to be, not for ourselves, but for the life of God's beloved world. May it be so for all of us. Thank you.